everybody, and welcome to Chip in a Chair, your one-stop spot for everything poker. Today, my little railbirds, I want to talk to you about Phil Ivey and the 2012 scandal, real quick. And I use that term very loosely because if you ask me, it really was a crock of poop. Um, but we still hear about it, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it and give my own opinions on this and move on from it. In 2012, Phil Ivey and his friend Chung Sun played Baccarat both at the Borgata and the Crockfords, and they had made a couple of requests, nothing outrageous. And when everything was said and done, they had won over $9 million in Borgata and over $12 million at Crockfords. So you look at me and you go, well, what were the requests that they made? Okay. First, they asked for, the particular cards that were there. They asked that deck not be changed out at all while they're playing. So the whole time they're there, they use the same deck. Nothing crazy about that. Superstitions always work that way. They requested that it be a mini Baccarat game wherein it's just them two and the dealer. And that also meant that the dealer is the only person touching the cards. So at this point, again, nothing wrong there. And they had requested a Mandarin dealer at Crockford's. I'm not sure if they did over at Borgata, but they had requested a Mandarin dealer. Again, possibly superstition, maybe because Chung Sun speaks Mandarin fluently. Again, nothing crazy with that. Nothing odd or awkward about any of those. Well, after they had won over $12 million through Crockfords wanted to look into the situation and say, well, they have to be cheating. There's no way they could be winning this legitimately. So Crockfords went through, poured through, and came back and filed a lawsuit against them, claiming that they were cheating the casino with something known as edge sorting. Now, what edge sorting is as the cards are coming through the shoe to be dealt out for Baccarat, they get scraped against the actual machine, and their edges get a little bit of imperfections. Now, mind you, it's not easy to see these things, but if you know what to look for, you can spot them. So then you can learn, okay, well, these cards are good, these cards are bad, and when you see those little, defects in the edges, you know which ones are good, which ones are bad, you know when to bet, when not to bet. So it is what it is. So they did that. Well, the casino claimed that was cheating. And they sued both players for a total of, I think it was $15.6 million. 5.4 of which they added to that, to that total, in claims that that's how much they would have taken from Ivey and Chung Sun had they played legitimately. Now, if this game is a coin flip as it's supposed to be, and it's a fair, legitimate game, there's no way that they could ever say, well, we know that we would have taken you for this much. But yet they claim that they would have taken them for that much had they played legitimately. Well, then the house wasn't playing legitimately, and the house was misleading them, and the house was cheating them, and they didn't like the tables being turned. And that's all Ivey and Chung Sun did. They turned the tables. They made certain requests that were not unreasonable, that were not unethical. They just knew, hey, we can ask for this. It's not crazy. It's not it's not like they were saying, well, let us touch the cards and then we can bend them and we can mark them or whatever. They never touched the cards. So it's not like they ever marked them. So it was what it was. It's similar to card counting in blackjack, which, mind you, is not illegal. Now, yes, there's casinos in Vegas, they don't like it, and they will ban you, but it's technically not illegal to do. And in Atlantic City, I've been told that they don't care if you do. If you can do it, great, knock yourself out. It's not easy. There's a lot of mental discipline that has to go along with counting cards to keep the count going, to keep everything rolling, and to make any form of efficient judgments on it. It's not easy. takes a lot of discipline, but it's not cheating. Looking for those little defects in the cards, looking at those little defects on the edges and stuff like that, that's not cheating. That's just being very observant and being able to remember which ones were which. That's mental discipline. It's not cheating. But the casino didn't like it because they lost their edge and they felt, well, we're getting cheated because we don't have control over this. Oh, damn. Sucks to be you. Welcome to the real world. You've been ripping people off, countless times. You want to talk about unethical? Misleading? That's what they did. They said that Ivey's requests were misleading for the real reason why they wanted to do those things. Okay, well, let's talk about misleading all of your blackjack players with the insurance bet. That's completely misleading because you're being told, hey, I have an ace. Do you want to buy insurance to make sure I don't have a king or a jack under here? Because I might have blackjack. So you're already going to lose. You want to put more money up to lose more money? That's what they do. It's unethical, but they do it because they prey on your psychological thought of, oh my God, I might lose this bet. Let me put another bet out there to protect this bet, and then I'm going to lose both of them because they didn't have the ace, and then they still managed to beat me, so I just lost all of that. You don't think that's unethical? You don't think that's misleading? It's very misleading. That's what they do. So Ivey and Chung Sun did not do anything wrong. They did not do anything unethical. Now I can understand if they were marking the cards themselves, absolutely. If they were rigging the shuffle somehow, absolutely. They never touched the cards. So they didn't do anything unethical. They basically just exploited a weakness in the system. And there's nothing unethical about that. It's the same thing when you're sitting there at poker and you see a tell that somebody has. Are you going to sit there and say, hey, I saw the way you made that bet. I know that you're super strong because you do that all the time. I'm going to not call your bet because I know that you're already strong. No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't let them know that you see that. So it's no different. Like I know the one time I was actually sitting at the Borgata and I had a guy who was sitting next to me and I'm sitting pretty much just as I am now and he's sitting right to my right and he lifted up his cards when he first got them. And I don't mean just like a little bit. He took them, stood them straight up on their edge, spread completely apart with basically 3 fingers. That was it. 3 fingers. So me just sitting here the way I am, my peripheral vision, I was able to see what he had. I didn't lean over. I didn't look down. Didn't have to. He gave me that information. And then on the flop, he bets. On the turn, he bets. On the river, he bets. I know that I have him dominated because his pocket deuces and my pocket threes, I knew I had him covered. I wasn't worried. Was it unethical? No. Did I say, hey, by the way, I can see your cards? No. If you don't know to not cover your cards, that's on you. You see everybody else at the table doing this. You want to sit there and hold them up and show everybody this is what I got? Well, hey, guess what? That's on you. So I hate that this happened with Ivey. I hate that he was, put in this situation and that this black mark happened because, like I said, it wasn't anything unethical. And if you ask me, probably haven't, but if you did, I feel Ivey needs to be more remembered and more well respected for the master of poker that he is. Okay? Let's take a look at that. Okay? Phil Ivey, in his poker career, has won over $100 million. Okay? No small feat. He has 10 World Series of Poker bracelets. 10 of them. He has actually also got 1 WPT title, and he's had 9 WPT final table appearances. In 2005 and 2009, he was All In Magazine's Player of the Year. And, another probably very notable thing for him is in the year 2000 at the WSOP, he actually went heads up with Amarillo Slim. and beat him. Amarillo Slim, legend of poker. Ivey is the only player to ever beat him heads up like that. It was also Ivey's first bracelet. These are the things that I feel Ivey needs to be remembered for. For his talent, his skill, his tenacity at the game. Now, I've watched his masterclass. Definitely worth watching if you had them. If you had the money for a masterclass, definitely worth watching his and Negreanu's. But and we'll talk about Negreanu in another video. But Ivey, absolutely one of the greats of poker. Probably one of the most calculating, aside from Negreanu, if you ask me. And I think that whole poker gate, I don't know what the heck they wanted to call it back then, or whatever it was. We need to let it all go, stop talking about it, and remember Ivey for who he really is. One of the greatest poker players of our time.